You didn't get into the business to stare at spreadsheets, chase down invoices, or wonder why your phone stopped ringing. You got in to build something, a business, a legacy, a life on your own terms. But nobody told you how hard that actually is. Torsion Talk is for the garage door owner who's out there in the field before sunrise, solving problems nobody trained you for, and building anyway, because that's who you are. This is your industry, your conversation. Let's get into it. I'm Ryan. Welcome to Torsion Talk. Today, I'm going to be dealing with something that's probably on the brink of being a little bit too intimate, but most business owners deal with it, but never talk about it. But before we get into that, I've got a few announcements that I want to go over. Two primary big things that's happened this past week that I think is really important. Google replaces search with Ask Google AI mode on Android devices. So on April 29th, Google replaced a familiar search prompt on Android devices with Ask Google and pushes AI mode directly into the Android search bar. The G logo was removed in favor of a plus menu and lets users add images, shift to an AI mode prompt, or generate visuals. This is a big deal because for your garage door company, if your website's not structured properly with content, a large chunk of searches may be disappearing. This is very important. I can tell you firsthand. I know, I'm not going to plug all my stuff here, but Mark Annuity's been on the forefront of AI search for a year and a half, 2 years, and we've been searching it and doing all kinds of tests. We've had a lot of success with it, and so make sure that your site is structured properly. The other thing in marketing world that I think is very important for me to bring up is Meta overtakes Google in ad revenue. This was reported last week. This is a pretty big freaking deal, to be honest with you. So Meta's projected ad revenue of $243 billion edges past Google's $239 billion. I don't really know what to say about this, but what I can tell you is that Reels, are like ads in Meta right now are just doing so well that if you're not doing Meta ads, I think you're missing out in a very big way. Google ads are great, but like I've mentioned before, I genuinely feel like unless you just have like a really hyper targeted campaign to a specific product or service. I'm not talking about like garage door repair. I'm talking about niche. If you're not there, then I really feel like it's your worst customer. It's the worst lead. Highest cost per lead, typically highest, especially for like garage door repair related keywords, is going to be your highest cancellation rate. In a lot of cases, I see this around a lot. Now, if you have people standing around and they can get to them quick, yes, it's perfect. But when people use Google ads, they're also historically, due to my research, are not a great repeat customer unless you have a really good retention plan after they buy from you. Most people who come to your company through AdWords are going to go back to AdWords when they need another garage door company. So keep that in mind. That's just what we've seen. Someone else's data may be slightly different. If it is, feel free to send it to me. I'm happy to look it over. But I've been doing this for a very long time and looking at a lot of data from a lot of different websites. 2 events are happening here in the near future. One is I'm bringing back my sales training. This is something that I've just had a lot of requests for recently. So in about a month, we're going to have a 2-day garage door technician sales training. 2 days here in Atlanta. It is in person, $1,000 each. But what I'm going to tell you is you're going to get that money back really quickly, even if they suck at coming back with 90% of the stuff that I teach. Let's just say they just pick up one thing. That one thing is going to make up that $1,000 on the first day on the road. That is it. Satisfaction guaranteed, $1,000. Fly your technicians into Atlanta for a 2-day training, and you won't regret it. Like, I've had so much success with this. If your guys aren't averaging at least $850 per ticket, this is going to be for them. And there is limited space. So I'm going to tell you, the fact that I'm releasing this a little late is um, probably going to sell out quicker, because normally we sell these things out like 30 days in advance. And we've had a lot of interest in this over the past probably 3 or 4 months. I've probably had at least 10 or 15 people reach out to me about this specific training. So I know it's going to sell out quick, because we usually cap it at like 20. So if you're interested, make sure you sign up. That's garagedoorU.com/sales dash training. If you want to find the link to this, it will be in the podcast description or the YouTube video for the podcast. The next event we have, I think we have a few seats left for the Garage Door Mastermind, Garage Door U Mastermind. It's going to be also in Atlanta, Duluth, Georgia, June 12th through the 13th. This is for business owners. We're going to be sitting down with Josh Brooker. He has built a $100 million business from scratch, and you're going to get to do some Q&A with him. He's going to share some of his insights and the things that he did and learned through the process. $100 million service company here in Atlanta. This dude is freaking brilliant. We have a few seats left. If you're interested, make sure you sign up. But I wouldn't miss this. These are the types of opportunities that give you a competitive advantage. You're going to be getting information from one of the biggest home service businesses in the Southeast, and I'm really excited to be bringing him on. And then we're also going to be talking about some technology, automation, AI, and things like that for day 2 and maybe the second half of day 1. We have some fun stuff that we were thinking about planning too, so bear with us. But the agenda is being finalized. We're just really excited about this event. The last one we had about 25 people, and it was a huge hit. Shout out Somer for sponsoring this event and helping us make it great. All right, so let's get into the podcast, because I really feel like I have been going through something. I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable with you guys. Like, I trust you, because you guys a lot of times have been supportive of me being vulnerable on the podcast. And quite frankly, I don't really care if you're not supportive, to be honest with you. I want to talk about things that I feel like make a difference. And today might be a little bit controversial in some things that I am feeling or going through. And I think it's just not all me. I think there's other people, there's other business owners that might be feeling the same way. And I have some warnings for you that I think are really important for you to listen to, because if you don't pay attention to what I'm about to tell you and you are doing the things that I've been doing, I'm going to promise you, you can't sustain. You physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually cannot sustain. So let me walk you through a little bit about what's been going on with me in the past like 6 months. So Aaron Overhead Doors went through a really tough time, and I jumped in and started running the company for short term, knowing that this isn't something that I could sustain. But I was working 16 to 18-hour days, and I was working weekends. And I was trying to turn this thing around, because things had dropped off in a pretty big way. And I was very disappointed and frustrated and angry, but I just stuffed it and I went head down, because I've been stuffing things my entire life and I'm good at it. I'm so good at it that when I looked back, when I was in the middle of this and started thinking about my life, I can't really remember the last time that I allowed myself to feel anything like emotions. Maybe I felt them, but I found ways to numb them or ignore them. Whether that was like dive into more work or, do things that help me numb the feelings. I've been doing this since I was a kid, y'all. I'm talking 6, 7 years old. And I'm not going to give you a pity party about my past. Like, some of you guys had listened to I think I did like a 2-part testimonial series. And I've experienced a lot of trauma, but probably so have you, right? And, I'm specifically going to talk to the men today because I know that women can deal with this too, but I don't think men hear it enough. And please don't shut this off because it does require a little bit of vulnerability and just openness. But I want to encourage all of you as entrepreneurs, business owners. Number one, I think that stuffing is going to come out one way or another. And whether you think you're feeling it or not, there's cracks in the walls. And there's only so long you can go like that before it affects your family, before it affects your work and your relationship with your employees, your friends, family members. So fast forward, like, you know, through some events that have happened with my family, it was suggested to me that I should probably seek therapy. And so I did. And I'm not afraid of therapy. Like I actually embrace it. I think it's a great thing. I think most people, if not all people, should be in therapy. I think it's very valuable. So I don't think there's anything to be embarrassed about with that. And I think I'm very confident that I'll probably be in therapy in some form or fashion on or off for the rest of my life. And I'm proud of it. But through therapy, we've been working on some things. And one of those things that I think I'd like to talk about today is, um, which I see in a lot of business owners. I'll open up my Facebook and Instagram, and there's a dozen business owners um, just posting all this stuff about hustle culture and, um, shut up and work. Nobody cares. Um, and there's some truth to that, like self talk, being able to like overcome. But there's also got to be a moment where we feel comfortable sharing our vulnerabilities and talking about our weaknesses. Not just sitting here saying, I don't have weaknesses or I eat my weaknesses. That is the biggest BS I've ever heard in my life. Like, okay, so you are on social media literally telling us you aren't human. You look foolish. And quite frankly, like, it looks extremely insecure, to be honest with you. And all these people acting like they know everything and, maybe they sold a business and they're out spending all their money and whatever. You can't take any of that with you. Like, there's little to no value in that. And I want you to know that, like, they say that entrepreneurship is lonely. It's lonely because we choose not to talk about it. We choose not to express ourselves about some of the things we're dealing with because we know if we open Pandora's box, we don't know what's going to come out. And let me share with you a little bit about what happened when I allowed Pandora's box to open for me. And I'm talking taking a deep breath and emotionally, spiritually, physically being done with the way that I was acting, being done with the decisions that I was making, and really trying to turn from those ways. And it's scary. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is one of the most scary things I've done in my life. And what's crazy is I've done some scary stuff and I usually embrace it. Like, I I love near death experiences. I know that sounds crazy, but it just is. It's probably because I haven't felt anything. And when I do that, I feel alive. That's why I do so many crazy things. You know, I love it. I love it when my adrenaline's pumping and my hands are shaking. I love it. It makes me feel alive.
Hey guys, I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that Surewinder is still selling amazing products. Some of you guys have been dragging your feet for whatever reason. If your shoulder hurts, do not waste time. Pull the trigger. I just bought 4 or 5 of them, and we had 2 guys out. You know how much it cost me to pay for 2 guys being out with bad shoulders? We just pulled the trigger and we said, listen, everybody's going to have one on a truck. It's mandatory. You got to use it. Don't hesitate. Don't wait till your guys go down. It's going to cost you more. Buy a Surewinder.
Hey guys, I found something that changed my business and I want to share it with you. We've created packages that have included some of the best products in our industry to offer our service customers. The heart of that package is Stealth Hardware Kit. Stealth Hardware is the quietest hinges on the market. I challenge you to buy at least one of these, test it for yourself. Put it on your truck and design a quiet performance package for your customers willing to pay for a better, smoother running door. Buy your Stealth Hardware Kit at Service Spring, do a search for quiet hinge, and then buy that. You can buy a double or single door, 7 or 8 foot tall, and promise you, it'll change your service forever.
Somer USA and Somer Group want to thank you for an incredible year and the trust you've put in them and their products. As you know, Somer places high value on relationships, education, customer service, innovation, and professionalism. And they are grateful to you for your part in the fostering and dissemination of these values. If there is any way Somer can support you in your journey, whether through their products, the values they hold to, or the knowledge Somer has gained through interaction with door dealers across the world, please reach out to the team at your convenience. They are here to serve you. Again, thank you from the entire Somer team. Check them out at somerusa.com. Tell them Ryan sent you.
What happened to me is for the past probably 4 weeks ish, I've been feeling a very overwhelming, unbearable amount of emotions. And I am in therapy trying to learn the skills to sort through them, feel them, and process them. And there are days when it's so overwhelming that I can hardly do anything. I'm nauseous, like throw up nauseous. And these emotions have caused me to revert back to some of my old ways, things that I used to think, and I had to stop it. Through this process, I've hurt people because I was like I didn't feel right. And it's nothing majorly big, but all I'm saying is that these emotions, these feelings are like almost unbearable to deal with. And so before you get to this point, like I would just encourage you to start allowing that process to happen for yourself, because I do see it. I see it in a lot of entrepreneurs. It's so crazy that I will randomly just break out and cry. Like a grown man in a conversation with another human about hot dogs or whatever. Like doesn't even have to do with anything that would trigger an emotion. And I'll just be leaking from my eyes. And people are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I have no clue." I think so because I feel alive. I feel lonely. I feel loved. I feel joy. I feel pain. When I was younger, I used to feel very similar to the way I've felt prior to feeling all these feelings. And I was explaining to my wife, I said, part of me wants to go box because the pain portion of these feelings also take me back to where I used to be. And when I was a kid, I would fight a lot, even for fun. Like my best friend and I would box on the side of my house, bloody each other's faces up, and then go inside and clean up and play video games together. But the internal emotions would either be so overwhelming or they would be so stuffed that I wanted to feel alive. And the only way for me to do that is to get punched in the face. But when you're an adult, that's a little bit more complicated. I can't just go up to somebody and start a fight. And plus, that's not my style anymore. I also heard Pastor Philip Anthony, I think is his name. He's here in Atlanta. He's got a really popular church. And he said, God tells us to give people love, but not access. And I really love that. I love that a lot for business owners because we have employees and sometimes we're having a hard time understanding where to draw the line. Is it friendship? Can you be friends with your employees? And I feel like if you think the answer is yes, and a lot of times it's toxic, it's not helpful, and it sucks because you love these people, but then you give them access and then they hurt you. And over time, I feel like whether it be friends or family or employees or just random strangers, business partners or clients, you start to give up hope sometimes, but you've given access. And I think the main thing that I would like for you to take away from this podcast, although hopefully you're still listening, because this isn't about garage doors and home services, but this is about leadership and growth, both self growth and business growth. Because the moment that you get here and you let go, I think it helps your business. I think it helps your relationships. I think it helps you. And I hope my vulnerability and my openness about the situation allows you to be vulnerable and open about the situation. I'm working out. Yes, I want to get in shape. I think that's important, but really I'm trying to exhaust my body every single day just to help with all the thoughts going through my head and the emotions. It's very difficult to make clear decisions right now. And it's my podcast, so I'm going to share what I share, and you don't have to like it or agree with it or whatever. But I will say that the only way I've been able to get through this and as far as I have, because I still wake up in the middle of the night with just like overwhelming emotions about all different types of things is I listen to worship constantly, like all day. And that too, like just randomly will make me cry. And it's very uncomfortable. I'm just not used to this at all. But I guess being an oversharer here on the podcast, as I've been told, I am choosing to overshare with the hope that you, as a business owner, can be a better leader by being vulnerable and sharing your love without giving access. God calls us to guard our heart. And you can still love and give love without access. I can love you from a distance. You know, when I got out of the game and I stopped running around on the streets and being a little thug, I had to cut off people that I absolutely loved with all my heart. And I still love them. And yes, they had access. But I had changed my life and I was able to find a way to love them from a distance. Some of them hate me because of it. They think I'm a traitor, or you know, they feel a certain way about how I left, how I cut them off. But your circle really truly should be fairly small, and God calls us to love people, but guard your heart and do not give them access unless they prove over time they're worthy of that access. Man, I've learned so much over the last few weeks. And until today, honestly, I don't even know that I could have done this podcast without literally just being like a total nerd on here crying. And I'm not even sure I would have had the revelation and the information to be able to share with you. But over the last 24 hours, 2 days, 3 days, it started last Saturday. I fasted and I prayed for hours and hours and hours for like half the day. My family gave me some time and I was just going through a couple different things. All of it was overwhelming and something broke. And then every day it's been a little bit something else. It's like God's working on me in pieces and trying to help me put it together because I've been broken. You know, you start as many things as I do. Sometimes it's like whack-a-mole and you just go from one problem to the other. And I can say that honestly, like I probably cause a lot of the issues. And I see that more clearly now than I ever have. So I'm truly working on making that better. And the thought of not being needed in your own business is also another major issue that I'm dealing with. I love it and hate it at the very same time. But I feel like I've been grinding since I was probably 17 years old. When I moved out of my parents' house and I made connections within the first month or two to access large amounts of drugs, and it was on from there and hasn't stopped since. It's not about the money. The money is nice. Like I love living in this home, having my studio. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, but I could sell all this and live in a tiny house just for memories and travel and whatever. I don't need it. My new operations guy at Aaron Overhead Door threw out a number that he wants to get the company to and told me how much that the company could pay me once we got there. And I don't know how serious he was with this number or not, but it's a pretty big number. And if we're doing that type of revenue, it could justify it very easily. And I told him if I had that number of income from that one particular business, not including my other businesses, I would probably give away 40% of it. Like literally just want to give it away. I have no need for it. Yes, I want to retire and give my kids some money, but I'm not trying to leave them with enough money to where they have no ambition and hunger in life to do great things. So my question to you is, I know there's seasons where we got to have our head down. I just went through one. But those seasons sometimes can break us, or at least break us down. You know, when I was 25 years old, I could probably, I did do that for years, working 16, 18-hour days. It wasn't a problem for me. I enjoyed it. I turned 47 this week, y'all. Like, I ain't trying to work 18-hour days. I didn't even have to set my alarm because I would go to bed late and wake up early because it was on my mind. I know you struggle with these things occasionally. And I just want to tell you, there is a better way. I'm not going to pitch you GDU because I know that's what you're thinking. I'm going to pitch you reaching out for therapy. I'm going to pitch you on calling out to God and just saying, hey, I'm broken. I'm taking this thing as far as I can take it. I need answers. I need your help. I need your wisdom. And then if you have stuff in your life that you're struggling with, pray that God takes it from you and shows you the areas in your heart that are not good. And be ready to go on a journey of healing. But it's not going to feel good, but it's going to feel good, if you know what I mean. I know this isn't my usual podcast, but I'm not going to apologize for it because I know that this is what God wanted me to do. And we got to do better. We have to do better as businessmen and women for ourselves, for our children. What kind of example? You know, your kids are watching you. They don't care what you say. They're watching how you act. They're watching how you respond. What you say means very little. How's your marriage? It's time to draw the line, make a difference, and be serious about it. And I'm sorry to disrupt your day with this, but if you're still listening, it's because you know that you need to make some changes. And if you want me to pray with you, just hit me up and I will do so. Thank you, fam, for listening to my podcast. I appreciate you guys allowing me to be vulnerable about myself. And if you've made it this far, greatly appreciate it. Be blessed. Have a wonderful day and stay safe.